local, support local, celebrate local. We do that with our West End School just to see the change that they can make in a group of young people. And these three, I'll say young men, these three young men, they do that every day with the work that they do for the West End School. Now, two of these young men, you know, because they're all over the city and they're always working. Now, I'm going to start like this. Paul Perconti, you know him very, very, very well. He's always working with West End School, and also Volare, his fabulous restaurant. I am always in there. When you hear me say panna cotta, you always hear me say panna cotta. Love, love, love their panna cotta. And also our very own Dr. Duncanstein, Darrell Griffith. Darrell and I, you and I went to West End School.
Yep.
It was then Virginia Avenue, which then switched to Jesse Rodman Carter. Jesse R. Carter. Darrell, even then when he was young, was always shooting something, whether it was a balled up paper or a sock. Bubba, who was your friend.
Bubba Parrish.
Yeah, who I was his sister's friend. It's just funny, long story. I could tell you stories, but I won't do that to you. This is Dr. Gregory Ross, who is now, I guess, do we say headmaster?
He's the head of school.
Head of school.
He's the president. He's whatever title he wants.
He's the president. He's the check, and check.
That's right.
At West End School. Darrell and Paul work daily to make sure that the young people of the West End School are taken care of. Dr. Ross, we welcome you.
Thank you so much.
We thank you for the dedication we know that you're going to give to the young people there. So I'm going to start with them. What do you all want to say about the journey that the West End School has been on and why it's so important that Dr. Ross is here?
I'll let Paul lead off.
Well, I'll just start off. I'm a co-founder, goes back 17 years. The first person I called to join the board when I was building the board for the West End School was Darrell.
Yes.
He's been a personal friend of mine just all throughout my 40 years in Louisville. So that's where we started, and 17 years ago with 3 boys. And now today, I think there's 137, 138 boys going there, and we have a wonderful campus. It features the Darrell Griffith Athletic Center, but what's most important to point out that this community, the Louisville community, is the reason why we're all 3 sitting here, because it's supported us through the years. We've got $10 million plus in assets. We have no debt. And we've now embarked on building a girls' school, which is another $10 million. We've been blessed by an unbelievable gift from the partnership from the Brown-Forman Corporation that's going to help us with sustainability over 10 years, another $20 million. So you think we had it made? Well, we didn't. Our leadership wasn't right. And today, our leadership is Dr. Greg Ross. And I can tell you what I told Annabelle, the love of my life. This is the best I have felt about the West End School in 5 years. 2.5 years ago, for a couple of years, we got hit in the mouth like everybody did with COVID. And then the last couple of years, we've been working on trying to figure out what is the best leadership. And right here, this guy calls it his dream job, and we're really blessed. So I think he's the guy that's got to tell us where we're going.
For you, Darrell, you allowed your name to be put on that gym. And I said, oh, I could tell stories when I said about you. It was not just the athletics. You want to make sure that these children have a foundation. You know, it's not just about the athletics. It's about them standing up and doing right and learning and finding a place in life. So it's important. It's more than just your name going across that gym.
Yeah, and it was a labor of love for me. You know, as yourself, Don, we grew up in the neighborhood. You know, I walked to Virginia Elementary School. My brother and my sister went there. It's been a part of my life. And I've been blessed to go through that process, through Virginia Elementary School, through Duval Junior High School, through University of Louisville, and into the pros. But it all started at Virginia Avenue Elementary School, which is now the West End School. So when Paul called me to be on board, it was easy yes. What better way to give back to the community than 3 blocks up the street, a school that you went to school at and walked to school at and grew up at. So the mission of the school really was what attracted me. They wanted to help out a lot of the boys in the community. being a young black man from the community, seeing all what went on, being able to navigate my life the right way through all the madness, taking the right path, turning my head, having a blind eye to the things that wasn't right. Every neighborhood has that. You know, it's not just the West End. You know, all over the city, especially in the black community, you got to be able to be on the right side of the track. And I was fortunate enough to have a good family. My mom and dad, they always preached to me to do the right things. That's the reason why I went to Virginia Elementary School. We had a principal named Miss Jackson.
Yes.
And Miss Jackson was no joke.
She was no joke. And
Yeah.
she meant it.
She was no
Whatever
joke,
she said,
you know.
she meant it.
And she was a big force in the disciplinary action of the school. Now, we had a principal that would come in your classroom.
and it's true. So I want to get some time with you, Dr. Ross. What do you need and why are you here? What's the importance of this school?
So I kind of just lucked up on the school. Now, don't get me wrong, I used to work in Jefferson County years ago, but you know, I was a school superintendent and also had a consulting business called ASAD, and I just lucked up on it and through consulting services. And I literally called my mom. I said, "Mom, I found a gold mine." And even still, I didn't really know that I would end up at West End School. But you know, as a black superintendent in the state of Kentucky, there's only been 9 in history. So a lot of people would have thought that's your dream job, that's the ultimate. But when I saw here and the fact that we literally have the capacity to change the trajectory of the lives of young men, I mean, we really want to talk about how we can make Louisville better. You take 150 young men a year and you literally say, instead of you being on the school to prison pipeline, or instead of you selling for mediocrity, we're going to show you what excellence looks like. We're going to see, we don't see kids just from the West End. We see future doctors, lawyers, teachers, pro athletes, actresses, all the things. And we bring that back to Louisville, then we're really changing Louisville. So the power and passion that we have here and the gift that we have here is just amazing. So I'm looking for Louisville to own the West End School. I'm looking for Louisville to say, you know what? Those are my kids. This is my community. Let's make a true investment in changing the trajectory of these young men. And in fact, you know, we were talking about this earlier. There was an article published in the journal a few weeks back saying that 20% of our kids aren't going to school.
Yeah.
But we can guarantee that they're not only going to school, but they're getting something that's going to impact them forever.
They're doing everything they should do. We are like way over time. WestEndSchool.org. You need volunteers. You need folks that'll come in. You need donations. You need absolutely. Will you come back so we'll have more time? Because you talk about a girls' school and we didn't even have time to talk about that. Will you all come back?
For sure.
Absolutely.
All right. I know 7 minutes goes really fast, doesn't it? WestEndSchool.org. Will you come back and talk about the girls' school?
It'd be our pleasure.
Okay, boy, that went so fast. So they will have a girls' school. We're going to come back and talk specifically about that in their next interview when they do come back. You all heard them say they would come back. So there.